Welcome to LinkedIn Live, Rising Tide LinkedIn Live. This is the Digital Hospitality Show. If you're listening on Spotify, on Apple, on YouTube, we want you to join us on LinkedIn. We have a live show every Wednesday, every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. London time, wherever you are in the world. We want you to come up on stage, share your story. We are all storytellers up on stage. We are all in business in some way. We love LinkedIn. We love this community. We believe a rising tide lifts all ships. We believe no one's coming to tell your story. So we practice storytelling. We talk about digital hospitality. We have different topics throughout the week. But more importantly, if you're listening to the show, we appreciate it. And we hope that you join us live. We hope you bring a friend. We are going to go around, do some quick introductions. I will set the stage for today. Today's topic is going to be perspective. I'm going to share a story about a community member and I, Charlie Eblin. We just got back from a customer advisory board trip to Boston with Toast. And I've got a story to share about perspective, and I will share it with the group, but then we will all go around and talk about perspective. But before we get to that, we're going to go do introductions. Who are you? Where are you signing in from? And what do you believe? Take 60 seconds. Let's get through some introductions. If you're down below, please join us up on stage. We want to hear your voice. We want to hear your story. We want to hear your perspective. Jason Berkowitz, go for it. Oh, Jason Berkowitz is not going to go for it. Elizabeth Doss, you go for
it. My name is Elizabeth Doss, and I am an animated GIF artist. I make, and the GIF animations that you use across social media on Instagram, etc. But I help brands and businesses harness their thought leadership and a building community around these animations to drive some of their major points home and campaign for their cause, etc. But today was a fun day for me. I met up with my illustration teacher. He did the hidden pictures for Highlights magazines for years. And we just dove in. He's helping collaborate with me on my upcoming book that I'm going to go ahead and put out there that hopefully will come out in the next year or so. And so it was just a really wonderful, amazing morning. But that's what I was up to. Back to you, Sean.
It's awesome. Thank you, Elizabeth. Stover, are you able to unmute? Who are you? What do you believe?
Well, I believe in Highlights magazine. I'm a big fan of waiting rooms, going to the doctors, all that. It makes a doctor's trip much better when you got the Highlights magazine. My name is Stover. I have a long history actually in print, magazines, newspapers, all that kind of business. What I really loved about it was storytelling. At the time, I thought it was the medium, but no, it was the message that I liked. So what I did was I taught myself podcasting by moving to Texas and starting a barbecue podcast, arrogantly calling it the best barbecue show. Along the way, I met Sean, and we really hit it off. So what I decided to do was devote everything I had to helping him grow a one-of-a-kind media company out of a barbecue restaurant. And many years later, here we are today doing these twice a week live events. And I'll always say that I believe these are the highlights of my week. I get to talk to great people, learn a lot, and just be a part of something amazing. So thanks, everyone.
We appreciate you, Stover, more than you know. Thank you. Jason Berkowitz, let's try that again.
Hello. Thank you for round two. Jason Berkowitz, working on that part. Longtime restaurant operator, founder, Arrow Up Training. We help develop supervisors into leaders. And I believe that supervisors are the bridge between expectation and execution. They're the glue that makes it happen. Give them the tools they need. Back to you.
Thank you, Jason Berkowitz. Troy Hooper. We've got Troy and Jason on the same call. It's like things are coming together again.
Oh, the family's back together. Jason, please pay Elizabeth to make that last quote a meme / GIF / animation immediately. That was a phenomenal quote that I don't want to forget. So please get that made so that I can use it on social media. Troy Hooper, CEO and founder of Kiwi Restaurant Partners, brand scaling consulting firm in the restaurant space. We help emerging brands scale at speed while improving their quality. In that vein, we were originally engaged by and then brought in-house onto the Pepper Lunch brand. I'm the CEO of Hot Palate America, a holding company for Pepper Lunch in North America or the Western Hemisphere, because I'm taking it to Brazil. And Japanese fast casual concept. We love you to come sizzle it your way with us anytime you're near one of our stores, and many stores coming your way. Watch for announcements as early as tomorrow. Glad to be here.
Holy shit, Western Hemisphere. Look at you.
Yeah, it always has been, but we're actually starting the work on Brazil. So
no, it's only when you say it is, Troy. Once you say it is, then it becomes truth. So you start saying it more.
It is
more often.
I will start saying Western Hemisphere.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Troy. Brazil. I love it. Justin Ulrich, what's up, my friend? Go for it.
I need to start saying I'm a millionaire more because that's not reality. No, Justin Ulrich, head of the marketing team here at Vocalize, where we're the #1 fully automated multi-location marketing platform. We help take local data and trigger local campaigns across different platforms where and when it's needed most. Also have the Local Marketing Lab podcast that I host, so check that out. I believe in the power of assuming positive intent. I think it goes well with perspectives for this call today, but there's many times, if you think of how often people are take things the wrong way, or it leads to gossip or infighting or backbiting or whatever it may be, and it all gets in the way of productivity and ultimately success. But if you can go into as many situations as you can assuming positive intent, it's incredible how much you can get done and just continue to move the ball forward.
Amazing. Grateful to have you, Justin. Thanks for being here. Richard Liverman, my friend, go ahead. You know the drill.
Yeah, good evening. I'm Richard. I'm based in the UK, but work all over the world. I'm a brand consultant, coach, and mentor. I love what I do, and I've been very privileged this week to speak and work with a number of people here, and hopefully in the future, a number of people listening in. I also have a side hustle of helping Americans avoid social faux pas. So, Sean, quick test for you. You've seen the wife, and you thought, you know what? I'll bring her a bunch of flowers. You take the bunch of flowers home, and your wife puts them in what, Sean? This is a very important thing. What does your wife put the flowers in?
A vase.
Correct. That is the correct pronunciation. Well done, Sean.
That's not what he would have said had you not set it up that way.
It was how would Richard want me to pronounce it? And it's a vase.
To be honest, I feel like this is my side hustle is helping international diplomacy. So well done, Sean. Go and get your wife a bunch of flowers so she can put them in a vase.
My wife prefers uncut flowers. She prefers flowers that she can plant and keep alive. So I will not be getting her a vase, but I do enjoy the international diplomacy, helping us all speak proper English.
Sean,
yes.
Do not pander to the audience. Be yourself and take the lashings when they come.
Take the lashings? Okay, fair enough. I'll take the lashings.
Making the Americans mad.
Okay, fair enough. Vase. A vase. It actually doesn't even sound right, a vase.
Especially during the Olympics. We got to hold our ground right now, Sean.
Okay, you got it.
What's the French word? What's the French word for vase? Is it vase?
I don't know. That's more a Scott Turner question. Mercedes, you're up. Welcome to the stage. Thanks for being here.
Well, that's going to be a hard one to follow. Mercedes coming out from sunny San Diego. I am the director of events and sales and events. There we go. It's been a long day. And now the VP of Education and Programs for HSMAI San Diego, which is awesome. And
Mercedes, are you on Bluetooth connection? Possibly.
Yeah, sounds terrible.
You sound kind of far away.
Okay.
Those are Troy's old headphones.
Did Troy send you some headphones?
Stover, I literally unmuted and you beat me. I'm trying to say it and you fucking beat me to it. I was going to say she's on my old headphones. She found that.
That was really good.
In a hotel room. Great job.
You sound.
By the way, how do I sound?
You sound much better. Troy.
Anybody? Because I'm on the brand new AirPod.
No, Mercedes. Try again.
I'm gonna have to leave the room and come back.
No, there you go. Now we can hear you. Now with
LinkedIn Live. I don't know why.
All good. We can hear you now. You sound great. Go for it.
Thanks. Mercedes coming out of sunny San Diego. I am the director of sales and events for the Wood Group in Pacific Beach. I am also now, this is a big announcement, but the VP of Programs and Education for HSMAI San Diego. I just got elected to be on the board, so super excited for that. And I believe in thinking outside of the box and being nice to people that you don't know.
That's awesome. You sound great. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Just a reminder to everyone in the room, follow each other. I think most of us do, but follow each other, not just on LinkedIn, on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Subscribe to podcasts. That's how this community, we support you no matter where you are. So if you're listening, please let us know what your handles are so we can follow you and support you in your content creation journey. Laura Wilbur, welcome to the stage. Go for it.
Hey, I'm Laura. I'm also here in San Diego, and I help restaurant groups and restaurants acquire more expense account diners and keep the ones they have. So I'm Director of Strategic Partnerships at Denova Corporate Dining. We are contracted by global companies and government agencies to procure partnerships with great restaurants for when these business travelers are traveling on official company business. And the opportunity for restaurants is to drive more early and midweek sales and higher average checks. And I believe showing up with consistency is at least 80% of the battle, and that a rising tide lifts all ships.
You're awesome, Laura. We appreciate it. Scott Turner, go for it.
Hi, everyone. Scott Turner, founder of Auden Hospitality. I also know that vase or vase in French is la vase. I help hoteliers think differently about their F&B to create outlets their guests will love. I believe in community. I believe in community for hotels. I believe in community for restaurants, and I believe community for yourself, which is why I turn up here every week. And I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Amazing. Scott,
Hey, Sean, real quick. Sorry. Little housekeeping. Michael got dropped down below. I'm trying to bring him up. It's not working. Michael, leave the room. If you're on a desktop, that's the death of LinkedIn. There you go. Bye-bye. He'll be back. I was trying to bring him up.
Perfect. Yeah, and just for everyone, we can get 17 people up on stage. That is some magic number. The 17 speaker limit for LinkedIn. No idea who we need to talk to get more than 17 voices on stage, but apparently 17 is a lucky number. Let's go ahead. Eric Farrell, welcome to the stage. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming back. Take 60 seconds. Who are you? Where are you dialing in from, and what do you believe?
Yes.
Eric, you're cutting in and out. Are you on the?
No. I tell you, I'm a bull.
Are you on Wi-Fi? What are you on?
Connect on that. I'll come back in.
Yeah, why don't you come back in? Go ahead, or try to come on a cell phone. Mike LaRue, let's give it a chance.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, you sound great. We all do mic checks. That's why we do introductions, so everyone can do a mic check. Go ahead,
Mike. What's going on, everybody? Mike LaRue, Vice President of Franchise Development for Angry Chicks. And what I believe, it's interesting. I think it's the small things that you focus on and not really paying attention to the noise outside your box. Just focusing on improving your own systems and processes and teams and brand. And if you do things consistently well, and it's like doing the small things, the things that are easy to do or that are easy not to do, you focus on just your own metrics, it'll eventually start paying off. And I guess that's quick meaning behind that. This Nashville hot chicken space is obviously becoming very saturated. Everybody knows Dave's. We're not franchising outside of California, but we don't really have a lot of presence outside of California. And so, everyone just kind of looks at what we're doing and lumps us in with all the other Nashville hot chicken concepts that are out there. And because we've just stayed focused on improving our own systems and processes, the momentum is really starting to build. And so, yeah, it's been fun. So, yeah, focus on the small things and not really Not worrying about the noise outside of what you got going on.
Love it. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here, Mike. Mitch, great to see you. Go ahead, 60 seconds.
Hey, everybody. Mitch Zanotti from AppStem. We do strategy, design, and build of digital products. I believe in restraining yourself. Just left Costco and didn't get pizza as I was walking by. They were just pulling out fresh slices of pizza. And I think it's important to say no to short-term happiness, I guess, to reach your long-term goals.
It's an awesome example. Saying no to the pizza at Costco. That's fantastic, Mitch.
Have
Appreciate
you passed a hot now light at Krispy Kreme though and done the same thing? Because that's
impossible. That my body
It's
won't allow
impossible.
that.
What did you say, Jason? What kind of Krispy Kreme donut?
a hot now light at Krispy Kreme.
A hot
Got
and
those-
now light? What is that?
Isn't that what they call it when it pops up?
Hot,
Someone
hot and ready, hot and fresh. Yeah.
Hot
There's
now
a neon
light?
sign in the window.
have a specific.
Wait, that sounds like your search
Yeah.
history.
The whole front window is a big neon sign. And when it's lit up in orange, it says hot and fresh or hot now. It means that hot, fresh donuts are rolling off the assembly line. It's a way of trying to tell you that the freshest, hottest, gooeyest, meltiest, mouth-watering
Troy,
fucking
do you
donut in the world.
do you like Krispy Kreme?
I gotta go find a Krispy Kreme donut.
Okay,
now.
so 10-second story. 2003. I'm serving tables at Mastro's. I served the CEO, and I just driven out of Krispy Kreme. I just driven out west from New York, and told him the story. And this is true. Of I was driving on the freeway. I literally saw the hot now light pop up, and I, dumbass stoner in my 20s, me, pull the car literally as fast as I can off the freeway, nearly cause a 5-car accident, pulled in sweating, realized what I'd done. The instincts took over rationale and reason, and literally almost killed a bunch of people. Got the donuts, and he handed me it was like 20 free donut cases for surviving that. So that's how powerful it can be.
Well,
Says the skinniest guy in the fucking room, by the way, everybody.
And Troy, I love the fact that you've gone against Sean's philosophy where you've been the commercial, not the show. And
Yes.
you know what? It works on me.
Commercials work. The commercials work, and there are times when
That-
Mitch, that was really well done. You see, you never know.
That
if
was
you're
a
gonna get into
passionate
the
referral. Passionate referrals are the most powerful form of marketing is a passionate referral.
Well, maybe an upcoming topic for this room will be discipline. Discipline and passing. Summer, welcome to the stage. Thank you for being here. Take 60 seconds. Who are you? What do you believe? Thanks for being here. Go for it.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello.
Mic check. You're doing great. Go for it.
My name is Summer Chen from Berkeley, California. I'm a designer designing physical and digital products, and also a content creator. I write on LinkedIn. My focus right now is to help restaurants increase their online presence to website searchability and streamline the online ordering system, so hungry customers can find them. So I believe in building and sharing my learnings, failures, and success with the public. So I try not making it too boring. So I'm learning to become a better storyteller. By doing so, I hope to accelerate my learnings in design, marketing, and the restaurant business.
Summer, we're so grateful to have you on stage to share your voice. If you guys aren't following Summer on LinkedIn, please follow her as well as everybody else in the room. But Summer, you're a phenomenal writer, content creator, and we're happy that you're now joining us on stage to use your voice more. Steven Swiderski, who is a hero for Cali Barbecue. He has been working tirelessly, effortlessly. Did we pass inspection?
I have breaking news, guys. We got 100%.
100%.
Good to open.
We are opening tomorrow. Cali Barbecue on the Navy base. Breaking news to the digital
Coldest
hospitality.
freezer in town.
Our negative 34 degrees worth of a freezer got us to pass. It's like the real snowman in here.
Well, Stephen,
Mark,
Stephen worked all day yesterday to get ready for our health inspection, and yet still figured out time to pick me up from the San Diego airport and get me to my Walchef Wolfpack at home. Stephen, you're a true hospitality hero. Appreciate you, dude. Go for it.
yeah, no problem, Sean. Happy to be here. Barbecue Scoop with Steve, coming live and direct from the 805 freeway, heading to the border to do some catering deliveries. Then we'll be heading back to the Navy base to get us prepared to show up and sell out tomorrow. Happy to be here. Happy to catch up with all you guys, and hope everyone is alive, healthy, and happy.
Stephen, you're a rock star. We appreciate you. Heather Cox Codes, welcome to stage. Go for it.
Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Heather Cox Codes, social media management and strategy, content creation, WordPress website design for busy restaurant owners. Also dabble in real estate as well. Also the social media director for Miss Delaware USA and Miss Delaware Teen USA. Please, that is happening like right now. Like interviews are happening right now. And yeah, Miss Teen USA, hopefully, fingers crossed, Kayla gets that. It'd be amazing. Also author of a new book called The Connected Kid. If any parents need help with their kids' parental controls, there's checklists and how-tos for everything you can think of, from Roblox to tablets to computers to artificial intelligence. It is all in there. A host of 2 podcasts, Dark Mode and Into the Black, and currently working with DETV on a new concept called Every Woman here in the state of Delaware. It airs on DETV channel 28 here in Delaware. So lots of exciting things happening, and I'm just glad that I'm able to squeeze this in. Thanks, guys.
We're always grateful whenever you can squeeze it in, Heather. We appreciate your dedication to the community since we started on Clubhouse and made our way over to LinkedIn. Always showing up, adding value. We appreciate it. Michael Ungaro with the big news. We've got big asks of this community. Michael, share what you're working on.
I am founder and owner, CEO, visionary of Kings of Fish, which is our docuseries television show, which will be premiering on Amazon Prime August 13th. And we need as many views as possible so Sean and I can keep finding money for season 2 and 3. This season tells the story of my family's business, of which my grandfather started. I'm also the CEO and co-owner of, which is San Pedro Fish Market. It's been around since 1956. 4 Guinness World Records, one of the top 10 most Instagram restaurants in the country 3 years in a row. And we were serving more customers, and we had more visitors as an attraction on the Western Seaboard than anyone but non-subsidized, except for SeaWorld. We're only second to SeaWorld. And I believe in storytelling, which is what our series is all about. It's why we've managed to survive and pivot through a bunch of different obstacles, from downturns in the downturns in the economy like the recession, the pandemic, and currently the redevelopment of our waterfront, which is a continual challenge. So our brand exists through our story, and I'm really thankful to have all of you and grateful that you're all part of it.
Michael, we can't tell you how excited we are, but this is a true August 13th. We need everyone in this community to go on Amazon Prime, watch Kings of Fish on as many devices as you can. Tell your friends. We will be asking this community. This is the power of digital hospitality, the power of community. One of our own members, Michael, such a cool story, and the fact that we get to watch it. If you haven't seen it on YouTube, go check out Kings of Fish TV. You can watch it on YouTube, previous seasons, but what they've done for Amazon Prime, it's a masterclass in storytelling, and obviously we want it to do really well on Amazon, and we want to get brand partners involved. But this community, that's why we're all here. Rising tide lifts all ships, and the San Pedro Fish Market and Kings of Fish, that is a big ship that we can all help lift up.
We need it right now, man. There's some crazy stuff went down. I'll tell you about it later, but
okay. You fill me in. Dean LeBay, Mike is yours. Go for it, Dean.
Dean LeBay, New Orleans. I'm in the restaurant industry, equipment and supplies. Basically, what am I working on? I'm working on a chicken franchise, concept. Do that tomorrow. Do that Friday. Working on a couple of things. But listen, I want to take just a minute and shout out Summer Chang, Chang. If you look at my profile picture in the background where it says "Greetings, Nola," she did that for me in like I don't know, 15 seconds. She's wicked smart, and some of her content she's been putting on LinkedIn is top tier. So if y'all aren't following her, do follow her. And she's, like I said, she's sharp. And I also wanted to shout out Berkowitz, Jason. I had a little trouble this last week. Picked up I made a comment to Jason. He called me. We talked it through. And listen, that's the power of this community. We have a great community. Thanks.
Appreciate you, Dean. And we will start with a story. So today's topic is perspective. Share a story about perspective, either recently where you've changed a perspective, where you've thought about perspective, or something in the past. I will share a story about Boston. So I just got back from Toast Customer Advisory Board, SMB, Small to Medium Business Customer Advisory Board. They also have an Enterprise Customer Advisory Board, but I've been on now for 3 years. So there's about 4 of us that have been on since the beginning, since Toast created this Customer Advisory Board. And typically we have 2 virtual meetings a year, and then we have 2 in-person meetings. This year it's actually 3 in-person meetings, 1 virtual, fly out to Boston, and we spend 2 days at headquarters with Toast leadership, basically sharing the things that they're working on, what they can do better. Incredible experience. But one of the coolest things that happened at the Customer Advisory Board is one of our good friends in this room, Charlie Eblin, Single Tree Barbecue. He is not with us today because he is probably catching up from being in Boston for 3 days. He is now also on the Customer Advisory Board. So selfishly, I get to spend time with Charlie in person in Boston, which is absolutely incredible. And it's something that, we believe in storytelling. And if you're willing to tell your story, and not just from a B2C standpoint, but from a B2B standpoint, there are some incredible partnerships that can happen with some of the most amazing logos and amazing companies that we work in restaurants and in hospitality. But I got to Boston late on Sunday night, went to bed. It was hard for me to sleep, but I promised Charlie that we would do a sunrise gratitude walk when we woke up. The first day we went to Harvard. So I took him, we got in an Uber, we went over to Harvard Business School, walked the campus of Harvard. Incredible opportunity to just spend time with Charlie, talk about Single Tree Barbecue, talk about Cali Barbecue, all the things. But the second day, which is where this story will go, is we were walking at the Seaport District. So close to where Boston's new headquarters is, in the Seaport District. It's amazing. They're redeveloping the entire waterfront. So brand new restaurants, brand new bars, brand new condos. Like, it is the amount of money that has gone into the Seaport District in Boston. It's rather remarkable. But we were walking up down there along the water, and there were 2 boats, 2 yachts, one a yacht, one a sailboat. And the one yacht had a name that I couldn't make out as Charlie and I were walking. But as we got closer, I saw the name of the yacht, and the name of the yacht was Beer Money. So I looked at Charlie. I'm like, that's a kind of an aggressive name to name your yacht, is Beer Money. It's kind of, pompous. It's a little bit of, I wonder who owns this Beer Money yacht. But as we started walking, there was a sailboat next to this Beer Money yacht, and the name of the sailboat was Perspective. And it was such a dichotomy of like the type of people that I'm looking for, the type of community that I'm looking for, what I care about, why we do the things that we do, why we host shows, why we do storytelling, why we believe in community. But it's perspective. I want people with perspective. I want people that are curious. I want people that are willing to get involved, that are willing to be uncomfortable, that are willing to grow, that are willing to ask questions, that know that they don't know everything. Charlie and I, we had a talk just about perspective. And I think, for me, it's the ability to have something like that happen, where Charlie and I are sharing, the business struggles of how hard it is to be in the restaurant business, how hard it is to be in the barbecue business, but also how grateful we are for the opportunity that we have. I mean, we have a company like Toast willing to fly us out together to be able to enjoy a sunrise together, but then to be able to see a boat and tell a story about it. So perspectives is topic. Elizabeth, go ahead.
Yeah. So I was trying to think, because there's a bunch of different ways that you could take this. One of my quick ones for people is even in taking photographs or taking video, thinking about perspective is a huge part of graphic design, of doing all these things. And so even when you're taking a photo, like I challenge you the next time, like you're at the beach or something, rather than just just holding up your camera and snapping a photo, turn your phone upside down and get it as close to the water as possible. And all of a sudden these other waves turn into this epic moment. And so anyway, don't drop your phone in the water. That's the main tip. But just very quickly, I've had the privilege to be able to travel, and I think that travel does a lot for perspective. But one of my most memorable trips is getting to go to Cuba, and it's just really profound to see and be grateful for the government that we do have. The people there are lovely and beautiful, but just knowing how strict things are. I was walking through Havana with our driver, and in my very sad kindergarten level Spanish, and I'm trying to have a conversation with him about creativity and about connecting it to your spiritual life. And he got so excited, but he began to explain to me that entrepreneurship is, you have to have a license from the government to be able, and you can't switch careers like that. Like it's a big issue because capitalism is not necessarily encouraged like we are here. I don't know a lot about this stuff, guys. So if you have like political questions and other stuff, I am not the person to talk to. All I know is this gentleman is standing before me, and he said that he loved to do woodworking, but he was imprisoned for 2 years because he had purchased a piece of wood on the black market to carve, even privately as a hobby. And the perspective of realizing that the freedoms that we experience aren't necessarily the freedoms that other people. And I just think it's important as citizens of this world of understanding and being grateful for what we do have, and then also making sure that I get to do those things. And what I loved is that the finances that were provided for our trip, we were allowed to sow into people, and because it's ministry oriented, we were able to sow into him to get all of the tools that he needed. And in Cuba it was only like $200 American, which goes a long way. But to completely outfit a workshop where he's now teaching men and women that are recovering from alcoholism and drug addiction how to create and how to do this. And then they have licensed shops where they're actually allowed to sell these things and help provide for the ministry. So anyway, it was just a really cool time. So I will hand it back to you, Sean.
That's a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that. Powerful stories and lessons, and upside down vertical video, upside down vertical photo. I couldn't agree with you more. If you're close to water, if you have kids, just try it. Change your perspective, change your camera angle. Stover, perspective.
Even before I was a journalist, I went on this kind of self-imposed journey to learn about other types of people as best I could. I'd realized as I'd become a teenager that I'd lived in this kind of bubble. I didn't know it was a bubble. You don't know that till you get older. But I was in suburbia, middle class in the time, would be lower middle class now, but back in the days of the middle class in the 90s. And I didn't know much about other people, different disabilities, different races, different cultures, different languages. Portland, Oregon, where I grew up, is known for being very homogenous, and it was very Caucasian when I grew up. It's changing now, thankfully. But what I had to do to learn about the world and feel that I actually could understand that it wasn't my reality for other people was read. And I just read books about people and things that I didn't know about. So there was one book, Little People, Big World. I forgot what it was called. I think that's the name of the show, but it was about small people, little people, people with dwarfism, and all sorts of things. And it had these different stories that intertwined. And I realized after I read that book at 19 or so, I started to be more aware of when people would use slurs against small people, or when people would discriminate against small people. And all I had done was read a book. But all of a sudden, my perspective on the world had shifted. I'd seen slurs where I hadn't seen slurs before. I'd seen pain where I hadn't seen pain. I'd seen people that I no longer felt bad for. And because I think I understood a little more because I read stories from the perspective of those people. So what I did after that is I would read book after book of different types of people. And then I became a journalist and I stopped reading because what I ended up doing was writing and reading articles and all that stuff. And books kind of went away. But what happened was I'd go out into the world and I would do the same thing. I would try to find feature articles or things about people experiencing all sorts of different realities than I was living. And I think over time, it turned me into the person I wanted to be when I was a teenager. And I want everyone to remember that all that education you do and everything is really to improve yourself. It's not to make money. And so perspective for me is just all about seeing the world through other people's eyes.
That's great. Thank you, Stover. Always grateful whenever you're able to share. Let's see. Eric, I saw you try to get back on stage. I appreciate it. I've been trying to get you up. I don't know if LinkedIn's acting funny. Mercedes trying to bring you up as well. Maybe some of the other moderators can try. I don't know. Troy or Elizabeth or Stover.
Trying, not working. Yeah.
Well, persistence is also a topic. Digital hospitality persistence. We will try to get you up on stage. We want to hear your voice. Jason Berkowitz, Rabbi Berkowitz, give us a story on perspective.
Hello. I actually am just going to kind of give you a quip and a tool. And this is picking up off of what you had posted on LinkedIn about Toast. And I think it's helping me hammer in this idea of how I approach conversations and just introduce with talk to me. And I do this going into coaching conversations when I was a manager. I do this going into conversations with lovers, friends, family. And the reason is, and this is a lot probably what Troy will speak on, and I'll let him use his phrase that he literally embroidered into his clothes. But for me, I love to open the door to figure out what's on somebody's mind. And by understanding what's going on in their mind, I can adjust my footing and be prepared to find some sort of mutual outcome. And, part of it is, I think I love Aikido martial arts. And that is, this martial arts is you use the energy of somebody striking towards you to use that energy then to move them off balance, to shift them. In this case, I like to bring them on balance. But I really like to just plant the smallest seed possible to understand what the hell is going on in the person in front of me. And then I love to just sort of adapt and move so that then we can connect some way. And then together we can move to hopefully either where I think we should go in the conversation, or as well be open, because it's a little bit of a duo dance, to where they think I should go in the conversation. And that's how I like to approach it with my perspective, is to first understand things.
I hope you keep developing that idea, those thoughts. Even your LinkedIn post about silence, about pausing muting your mic when you're on a call. I mean, we mute our mics on this LinkedIn live call because background noise is hard to hear, but not speaking on top of somebody, right? Understanding their energy and letting them have that pause also, that silent pause. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Troy, perspective.
It's not my phrase, Jason. And I don't know if it's Stephen Covey's phrase or not. It's a chapter of his book, and it's hopefully an age-old lesson that we all need to learn. I have to remind myself of it every day. It's very easy to get in your own bubble and live in your own understanding. But I consistently find myself being labeled a collaborator, but that doesn't mean that I don't forget to collaborate. I actually had to have this conversation this morning with one of my employees. And the phrase Jason is referring to, that is embroidered under the collar of every one of my sport coats and suit jackets, is seek first to understand, then be understood. Seek first to understand, then be understood. Before you give an opinion, before you give an edict, before you tell somebody how it actually is, you accept the fact that your perspective is not the only perspective, and you should seek others before you speak. It helps you not stick your big fat foot in your mouth like I have spent a lifetime trying to avoid to do and still do occasionally. But it's really, really important to collaborate, to understand multiple frames of perspective from others in and out of your industry. I've said this before. I listen to podcasts outside the industry. I watch shows outside the industry, watching some football documentary stuff like Hard Knocks and Receiver and Quarterback. I'm actually watching that because I'm fascinated by the business of the business and how they put teams together and how they think about people and how they collaborate, how they talk to each other, how they treat each other, how they spend time with each other. And that just helps remind me to get out of the grind. It's not about the P&L. It's not about the expense report. It's about the people, and people are what brings perspective. So all I can say is encourage yourself, use lipstick and write it on your mirror, stick a Post-it note on the screen in your car, do something to remind yourself to first seek understanding and information from others before getting on a soapbox and spouting your beliefs and your knowledge and your pure understanding that could have no alternative reality, when the reality is every perspective has an alternative.
Just to add on to what you were saying, Troy, I want to add on to Jason's post, which I just reread on LinkedIn. There's an exercise in mindfulness about mindful listening. And the idea of mindful listening is that you listen without thinking about what your response is. Because if you're thinking about what your response is, are you really listening and focusing on what the other person says? And I think that adds on to what Jason said. And I think that's embedded in your suit as well. But it's well worth looking out for those mindful listening exercises. They are game changing.
That's great.
Yeah, I agree. And I forgot this when somebody else said it earlier. I have a perspective. It's called the Pineapple Perspective. It is a show, although we currently still call it podcast. We are going to drop podcast. It's just going to be called the Pineapple Perspective. And it's going to be more than a podcast or a show. It's actually going to be a website and a whole belief system, a way of me sharing my experiences and my perspective. And really, more importantly, the Pineapple Perspective is 100% about others sharing their perspective. I ask the questions and listen. I'm not there to espouse my beliefs and my thoughts. It's actually a platform for others to share their perspective. So please find it on YouTube and anywhere you listen to your podcasts and shows.
That was fantastic, Troy. Thank you. Justin, share a story about perspective.
Yeah, I happen to have the perspective that anything can be accomplished, and no matter what, nothing's really impossible. There's many, anything you try to do, it's likely it's already been done, unless you're like inventing something new or really something that's groundbreaking. Otherwise, YouTube and Google can help you figure out how to do anything. It's just a matter of knowing what to look for and kind of where to get started to get guided in the right direction from the path that's typically pretty well worn by others. And I think one of the things that comes to mind with this, and it's along the lines of anything can be done, but also, and I think I heard it first maybe in this room even, someone had said when someone expresses disbelief or in your ability to accomplish something, that's them reflecting their own limitations and their own things that are holding them back and projecting them onto you. And with my daughter, she was running for class president. She's going into her senior year next year, and she's ran for president every year and hasn't made it. And her friends, air quote friends, they were the ones that were telling her that why is she even bother doing it? She's not going to make it. And I just continued to iterate to her that, we're going to try our hardest and anything's possible as long as you have a good plan, you put it in place. And we did that. And she won class president for her senior year, which was awesome. And she runs up against a lot of things. Like she wants to be an ophthalmologist. No one in my family is a doctor, but she tells her friends tell her, "You really think you could be a doctor?" And it's like, yeah, you could be a doctor. Anything that you want to do, as long as you put in the hard work and put your mind toward it, and you can continue toward those goals. It's all about perspective and not letting other people's perspective hold you back from accomplishing what you want to accomplish.
I love that story, Justin. I'm so happy that you shared it. I'm happy that you're a dad that teaches that to your daughter. What a magical thing. What a magical gift that you're able to give to her, but also to us as a community to remind us.
Just really quick, in response to Justin's share, there was a post by Simon Sinek this week, and he was talking about the reporters interviewing the Olympians at the Olympics, and almost all of them asked the same question: "Are you nervous about this?" And no, not one of them said, "No, I'm excited about this." And part of it's because they've trained themselves that same feeling that you get when you're nervous is the feeling you get when you're excited. And so what he was saying is the reporters were asking the question from their perspective rather than asking questions that would be from anyway. And so I just, in reference to Justin's statement there, that the other girls were asking questions based off of their perspective and their feelings rather than thinking about, and how we potentially can stop each other. I'll drop the link to it in the Instagram chat. Back to you, Sean.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that.
Wait, I have a question for Justin. Number one, beautiful share, Justin. Very cool. But I do think we all deserve to know if you deployed your secret spyware technology of Evocalize to make that happen.
No, but I definitely created some pretty badass posters.
Those posters are amazing.
I haven't seen them.
Where did you
Where
share,
are they?
did you share those on LinkedIn? How did I see those? Did you send them to me?
Maybe I sent them to you. Yeah.
Oh, I'll post them, dude.
Please share.
I'll have to share them. Yeah.
Please absolutely share those. Those were phenomenal. It's got an incredible story.
And it helps to give out candy every day for 2 weeks straight. So
life is a campaign. We're all campaigning for something. That's fantastic, Justin. Richard, share a story about perspective.
I love this topic. I think it's fantastic. And sometimes you need to look outside your niche. And I thought it was interesting when Troy was talking about looking at those American football documentaries. I find them fascinating as well. And one of the things that I did when I worked at a design agency, we were working on a brand called Godiva Chocolates, a Belgian chocolate brand, really, really fantastic. And they wanted to do a campaign. And they went, "Oh yeah, we want it to be all about the chocolates and this and that." And they showed us what their competitors did. And we went, "Oh, okay. Well, that's nice. But actually, why didn't you think differently? Why didn't you think from a different perspective?" And we said, if you think about Godiva, it's all about luxury. So we started looking at other luxury brands. We looked at handbags and watches. We looked at really high-end perfumes, and we took the learnings from those brands and we took some of the design cues from them and did something totally different for them. And we actually did an activation that was all around personalization and luxury and like making it a really magical experience. It worked really well for them. And I think sometimes we kind of get stuck in our niches. Oh, we work in restaurants, or I work as a coach, or you work as a designer. Well, actually, sometimes you need to look out from a totally different industry and go, what do they do really well? And how can I bring that thinking and that different perspective into what I do? Because when you do bring that, you can do amazing things. So I love this topic. There's so much to talk about. But just have a little think about who does something really, really fantastic and how can you bring that in? And I always go back to 2 years ago, I went to Disneyland in LA for the first time. And I was absolutely blown away by the customer service experience and, that whole mantra of this is the happiest place in the world. I would also add it's the most expensive place in the world, but we'll skip over that. What was so interesting was the level of service, was the level of the experience. And you start thinking, how can I bring that into my business? How can I bring that into my clients' businesses? So that idea of perspective, what can you see from what other people do really well outside of where you are? Be like Godiva, be great.
It's fantastic. Thank you, Richard. I love when you talk about Disneyland and Godiva and the brands that you've worked with. Laura, you got a story about perspective you'd like to share?
I do, and it's something I'm just kind of still working on this year. And as I mentioned when we opened our conversation today, the importance of showing up, right? So I wanted to, one of my goals for this year was to show up to this group consistently at least once a week. And I'm really thankful I've been able to. And I think in the past with my work, I always felt that taking time for something like this was sort of frowned upon by my supervisors, or that they just want me kind of grinding on the phones or in customer meetings, and I didn't really take time to build community and to learn and kind of sharpen the saw. So what I've found from showing up for the past 6-7 months is that my perspective on my business is evolving to a point where I'm in the state of flow a lot more frequently, which is, where high skill meets high challenge, and you're just kind of having fun doing what you do well and what you do best, and it doesn't feel like work. So if you haven't seen there's a YouTube video about flow, but it just talks about how when high challenge meets low skill, you get an anxiety, right? And when high skill meets low challenge, you get boredom. So each of us, as we work our way up, and building our skills and take on more challenge, like everyone in this room does, we find ourselves in that state of flow more and more frequently.
That was amazing. High skill and high challenge. Can you put that link, that YouTube link, in the Instagram group chat so that we can check out that video?
Yes.
And anybody that wants to join us on Instagram, you can send me a message at Sean P. Walchef. I will add you to the digital hospitality group chat. But that way you can get links to anything that we're talking about. I see you, Eric and Douglas. I'm trying to bring you up. I don't know why LinkedIn is not letting us get 17 people on stage, but please be persistent, and hopefully we can get your perspectives on stage. Thank you for being here. Mike LaRue, share us a story on perspective.
Well, I think I feel like I may have shared this before, but I'll share it again because it's still top of mind when it comes down to perspective. So, as a lot of you know, there was a period of time where my daughter was in the hospital for, for like 10 days. And it was right during Father's Day. And a week before, I was basically planning on playing golf Father's Day morning and was super pumped. As a dad of two teeny ones, it's hard to get out there for a 4 or 5 hour round. So I was really looking forward to it. And there I was, Sunday morning, sitting on the couch on Father's Day with my son while my wife and my daughter went in the hospital. And at that moment, I would have given anything to be sitting there watching Bluey with all of us just sitting on the couch. And it just kind of, again, perspective. It's I think it's those little things that you take for granted and that can be taken from you in a moment. You don't realize it until you don't have it. So yeah, that was pretty impactful.
I'm so happy you shared that, Mike. Yeah, it reminds me of one of my favorite Jesse Itzler quotes is, "Don't give up what you have, chasing what you want."
I love
Don't give up what you have, chasing what you want. Mitch, you got a story on perspective?
Yeah, I think that was a beautiful story, Mike. Thanks for sharing. I used to teach tennis, and still to this day, I do a lot with the Special Olympics. They've got an event here 2 times a year. And I think just being around those athletes and how they look at life and the opportunities that they get, how they look at winning and losing, Losing doesn't matter. It's just the experiences. It's just being out there with their friends. And I think when you look at other people, maybe with a disability, they don't think of it as a disability. They're just having the time of their lives. And I think when you look at perspective, it's so important to look at people from a different view of yourself, and to be around kids or, special athletes, and just see what their life is like, because your life isn't always as dark and dreary as sometimes it may seem. And we're all really lucky, and I think it's really important to take joy in the little things in life, and just look at life from a different view.
That was awesome, Mitch. Thank you for sharing. Couldn't be more spot on with that. Troy, you got something to say?
Yeah. Hey, Sean, just, I hate dropping out of this room unannounced or whatnot, but I've got an important call at 11, top of the hour. Just wanted to tell everybody have a great week. Missed being in here as much as I used to be. I keep trying. It's on the calendar. I try not to interrupt it, but good to see and hear everybody. Really appreciate the conversation today. I look forward to seeing everybody on Friday.
We appreciate you, Troy, and thank you for speaking up and coming whenever you're available. Come, raise your hand, interrupt, and that goes for anybody in the room. Sometimes you got meetings that go back to back, but if you have a perspective, you have a voice, you have a tip, takeaway, you have something you can add value to the group, please interrupt me. This is a call. Interrupt me, interrupt whoever's host, so that you can speak. Thanks, Troy. Appreciate you. Heather,
Sean, real quick, this is
yeah,
Mike.
go
I'm
for
going
it.
to interrupt as well. I do have
Go for
11
it.
o'clock as well. So
Yep.
appreciate you guys. Sean, thank you for being, you and Jason and all the hosts. Thank you for keeping this going every week.
We can't
Appreciate
do
you
it
guys.
without everyone that's here, everyone that's down below. If you guys weren't here, we couldn't be, or we would just be talking to ourselves. So we appreciate this community. Thank you, Mike. Have an awesome
Yes.
day.
Thanks, guys. You too.
And I too am jumping to an 11 o'clock. Thank you, everybody.
You got it. Thank you, Laura. Heather Cox, Mike is yours. Perspective.
This is a very interesting topic. And, I've been through a lot in my life to give me different perspectives on different things. But I will say everybody's perspective is created by their experiences, what they've been through, where they come from, who they hang around, people, places, things, right? Everybody has a different perspective. Even, being a woman will give you a different perspective than a man's perspective, right? But we all do need to remember that for ourselves, we cannot read our own label because we are inside the jar, right? So in order for us to really understand ourselves and also even our brand, even our business, we do need to have somebody else read our label and give us perspective of what we're doing, how we're talking, how we're being perceived, because other people's perspectives are super important for you to understand how you are perceived. I'm a numerology, astrology girly. And, there is your personal number vibration, but then there's also your outer personality number based off of the numbers that are added up by your entire name. So my entire name, my entire legal name, first, middle, last, you take the letters, you create numbers from those letters, and then you add them all up. And then based off of like the vowels and consonants, you figure out your outer personality number and your inner personality number and your life lesson number and all of these different things. So everybody does have an outer personality. And so we just want to make sure that we get other people's perspective so we know exactly how our jar is labeled. So just want to say that. Thanks.
I think that's the second time you shared about the label in the jar. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. It's always a great reminder. And I would love to figure out what my numbers add up to. Less about my numbers, but more about the names that I picked for my son and my daughter, what their numbers add up to and what they mean.
I do offer numerology charts for people, especially like literally like numerology maps based off of Pythagorean's theorem and the right triangle. So if anybody's interested, let me know.
There you go. That's awesome. Dean LeBay, you got a story about perspective, my friend?
Oh, let's see, real quick. For perspective and perception, I guess. Y'all know my story. Y'all know where I was, and back then my perception was that was how I was going to end up. I was never going to leave the nursing home, and everybody told me I wouldn't. And you get to feeling sorry for yourself, and you hang around people that tell you, you're not going to do anything if you stay in that wheelchair, if you stay in that bed. That's how it's going to be. And if it wasn't for this room, I mean, I can't say enough. Y'all carried me when I couldn't carry myself, and here it is 2 years later, and I'm in a new city, I'm in a new job, I'm in a new life, and so yeah, Heather's right. I don't see what y'all see. I see what I see, and I appreciate what y'all tell me, but sometimes I know I'm not politically correct or whatever, but I don't know how to be anybody else but Dean. I don't know how to. Everything that's happened in my life has got me to this minute and this second in time. I just always want to uplift y'all because it would not be possible without this room, and I can't say that enough. Thank you.
We are all Dean super fans. We appreciate your perspective. We appreciate your truth and the fact that you're willing to share, consistently come support this community. We're grateful for you, Dean. Thank you. Doug Higgins, my friend, thank you for being here. Can you unmute and share a story about perspective?
Yeah, well, and I'm sorry I came a little bit late today, and
don't apologize. You showing up is all that matters in this community.
Well, you haven't talked about Andrew Simmons, in his post yesterday.
No, go ahead. Yeah, Andrew Simmons, he's a part of this community, building in public.
Yeah, well, I saw his post yesterday, and I've been following all his stuff, since I think I first heard about it from you, a while back, and it's been amazing watching those posts. I mean, it's just from the amount of detail in the microgreens, economics analysis to subscriptions and redemptions and all that stuff. I think he's really kind of put it all out there. And yesterday he posted about some things that weren't going well, and some decisions he was making, and a pivot that's upcoming for him. And it kind of brought up this whole notion of failure in entrepreneurship, and that led to a discussion that I was having with my son, because he's 8, and for most of his life up until 2 years ago, I was in a corporate job, and I didn't really talk about it much. I wasn't very passionate about it, and and 2 years ago I took the entrepreneurial plunge, and he's seen a lot of that turmoil, kind of how that changed from his perspective, right? And so we were talking about success and failure and what the meaning of it is, and we ended up reading this book. If any of you haven't heard of Kobe Yamada, and you have kids, he's got some of the best books, I think. I've gifted him a lot to other people, and I think one of them was a gift to my kids a while back. But he's got this book called Trying, and that's what we were reading yesterday. I took a snapshot of it and posted it this morning. But in the book, they're talking about the nature of trying and failure and success, and success just doesn't happen without a lot of trials and tribulations along the way. And so I think Troy posted a few weeks ago about a similar topic, and I think this whole, culture, win or learn, the notion of win or learn, there is no failure, is something I had never really heard of until maybe, a year or two ago. And I really took that to heart. I really appreciate it. And that really changed my perspective.
Doug, what was the name of the author?
Kobe Yamada,
Kobe
and yeah, I can't remember the name of his agency, but I posted this morning and I linked to him.
Are you in the Instagram group chat?
No, I'm not, but I was going to send you a note to add me.
Okay, perfect.
You know,
Yeah,
so-
I'll add you. We'll all follow you back and then put that book in there. We've got a lot of people that always looking for good book recommendations, especially when they come with a great story like you just told.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's got a box set, that kind of preceded this book. This book was called Trying. But the box set, had three books in it. All of them are really, really incredible illustrations, as well as really inspiring storylines. So just some of the best books for kids that I've found.
That's awesome. Thank you, Doug, and thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. For those that don't know, Doug and I have known each other since high school, all the way back. Actually, was it 8th grade? I think it's been 8th grade, right?
Ninth grade for me.
Ninth grade for you. Yep, 9th grade for you at the Bishop School in La Jolla.
Yep, we were both in Dr. Rapp's advisory group.
That's right. And thanks to Digital Hospitality, we're back connected. I know all the things that he's working on and he's building and trying to build in public. Really, really grateful that you're here, Doug. Thank you for being here and contributing.
Of course. Thank you, Sean.
Mercedes, welcome back on stage. I know it was a struggle getting back up and getting back on, but thank you can you unmute, Mercedes? Are you able to share?
LinkedIn always makes it a little trouble, but it's fine. It's worth the fight. So perspective is so interesting, and it's actually how I got my start on my I guess weekly post that I want to start doing, which is going to be called Room for Revenue series. And it's all about perspective in that series, in a sense of I have to shift my perspective and look at things from a consumer side and see where there's items missing in a venue. And I'm really good at doing that. But sometimes honing in on it and seeing where there is room for revenue is a challenge. And I think what it all comes down to is with revenue, there has to be a reason. So in order to make revenue, there has to be a reason for somebody to buy. And with perspective, and when you're selling to people, the people have to be the reason, right? And so it's just so interesting. Since I started that series, I sent it to my mom, and then I sent it to some colleagues and some friends before I even published it, because I was nervous about it, about how it was going to be perceived and what the perspective was going to be on it. And I got across the board, like with you guys, I got a lot of love. I also got some hesitation from some people about even doing it. I got my mom who said, send it to the CEO of the company, and you're amazing. And then I had a friend that said, you're giving away your thoughts for free. And I said, that's the point. I was like, the point is I'm giving away room for revenue for free. And I guess it's funny to see how everybody's perspective is different and how that works out. But yeah, I definitely got a lot of perspectives on that time. So thanks, Sean.
That's awesome. Love the name of the title. Love the series, and obviously a huge fan of the content. So keep it coming. Eric, a man of persistence. Eric and Mercedes have been fighting LinkedIn to get up here on stage. Are you able to share? Does your mic work?
Let's hope so. The technology.
Oh my gosh, look at you. It's with you now. There it is. Go ahead, share a story about perspective. Thanks for your persistence.
Sure. Man, so sitting and listening to everybody go before me, I've gone through the stages of I don't have anything to share. I don't have any ideas on perspective to, oh crap, which story do I tell now? Wow. I would say one of my biggest shifts in perspective for me personally has been parenting. That kind of goes without saying with some things, but a lot of the lessons that I teach my kids, or even just the simple moments where something happens and I need to talk my kids through something, or the disciplinary moments, the things that I'm saying to my kids, I realize that applies to me. And it has shaped my perspective of my faith. My Christian faith has expanded so much because of my understanding of my relationship to my kids, and the things that I am teaching them as father to child is exactly what I feel like God is teaching me. And some of the discipline and chastising that I have to give to my kids to improve them is coming through him too. And it has humbled me and made me a better person in countless ways, but it has also slowed down my parenting. I think before I speak a lot more than I used to, and I'm trying to get better at that. I'm really pretty quick to be critical and put an opinion where it doesn't belong, but parenting has made me think internally more before I think externally, and that I think is definitely shaping my parenting, my marriage, and my business, and that's really helping.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing, Eric. Douglas, can you mute your mic? I think we're getting background noise. Doug?
Oh, yep. Sorry about that.
No, all good. No worries. Richard, welcome back on stage. Do you have something you'd like to add, or you want to start our tip takeaway homework assignment?
I can do tip takeaway homework assignment.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, I've just had to leave stage because I just had a client turn up and deliver me 2 bottles of wine to say thank you. I'm just sort of slightly taken aback. So I think my homework assignment is to drink the wine to get a different perspective. I'm just happy days.
That's fantastic, Richard. We appreciate it. We love the proper English words that we get to learn, but more importantly, we appreciate the stories and the lessons and the leadership of you continuing to show up. I know it's later in London, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's not the easiest time to join these calls, but we're grateful that you do, and anybody wherever you are in the world, but especially our UK friends. Thank you. Eric, go ahead. Tip takeaway homework assignment.
Persistence pays off. Keep showing up.
That's fantastic. Fantastic lesson. Mercedes, tip takeaway homework assignment. Oh, we lost Mercedes. Doug, tip takeaway homework assignment. We might have lost Doug too. Dean LeBay, tip takeaway homework assignment.
Takeaway. My mom always said, you don't miss the water till the well runs dry. So there you go. Thanks.
I would love a book of Dean LeBay quotes. Would be fantastic. Tabletop reading. Jason Berkowitz, tip takeaway homework assignment.
Don't be afraid in your news cycles to click on opposing opinions and to surround yourself with opposing opinions as you read. Not speaking in TikTok necessarily, but as you read, just stay open to multiple opinions.
I love that. Be curious, not judgmental, right, Richard? Little Ted Lasso. Everyone could use a little Ted Lasso. That's awesome, Jason. Stover, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, it's become more and more apparent in this world that you can train your algorithm without even trying to do it. At Cali Baby Media, we hate the word algorithm, but Jason's point stands that when you seek out other opinions, then those opinions start to find you, and then you have a better rounded view. So make sure to click on those people that you're not sure of and just see what they have to say.
Awesome. Elizabeth, tip takeaway homework assignment.
One of the takeaways is just hearing different people share and realizing sometimes perspective came because they climbed into someone else's shoes. And like when Mike shared that about his daughter, that he climbed into his shoes at a different point in time, and just how you can look at perspective from these like different positions. But I also really appreciated Eric's share that we learned so much perspective wise about ourselves and what we're going through, especially when we're trying to help others. And so I thought that was a great share as well. And your homework assignment is to turn your phone upside down when you're taking a picture and change the perspective on your phone.
I'm a huge fan of turning your phone upside down, vertical video, upside down, vertical photos. change your perspective. What an awesome group. Thank you, Matt, Mark, Rosie, James, Brandon, Richard down below. We appreciate you. Hope you guys can join us on stage on Friday, every Wednesday, every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. London time, wherever you are in the world. We appreciate you. Rising Tide lifts all ships. Don't be afraid to reach out to this community. Follow us at Cali BBQ Media on LinkedIn for the room. Join the Instagram group chat. And if you're working on anything cool, let us know so we can celebrate. If you have any ideas for topics for the room, please let us know. If you ever want to host the room and lead the discussion, we're always open to new hosts, new ideas, and bring a friend. Thank you guys. Have an awesome Wednesday.